good morning, guys. Happy Labor Day if you're in the United States. We got a lot to unpack here following Juventus Roma. Immediate reaction, I was happy. I thought that the Giallorossi stood up. It was a cagey affair. This wasn't an easy environment for Roma to walk into by any means. Juventus have been high flying this season, scored a bunch of goals over their first two, and Roma is able to stop them at their home, where Juventus typically win. So from that point of view, I was like feeling, yeah, this is a good point, but it can't be ignored that Roma have scored just one goal the entire season so far over those first three matches. It does kind of remind me about last season how there was a slow start and ultimately a slow finish, but it was good. I thought there were a lot of good signs. I thought that they showed a lot of courage. I thought that Daniele De Rossi's starting formation also showed a lot of courage. But I want to focus also these first few minutes on what is going on because the transfer market, while we have summed it up here, is actually not over because there's still free agents and there's two that it looks like Roma are going to take. One of those is a player who is from Real Madrid and has spent the last 5 seasons at Atletico Madrid as one of their ball-playing center backs. Mario Hermoso is ready to be announced by Roma officially. He's in Rome. He just passed his medical. I'm excited about this. Looks like it could be a 3 or 4 year contract. What happened with Kevin Danso was very unfortunate. That was not through Roma. That was not a decision made by the club to not have him signed because of his medical issue or his medical record. The testing that was done in his physical, that was by CONI, who manages the Olympic Committee and has a part to play in Italian affairs. So they stopped it. I'm sure there's more to it. That could have been an issue with the testing material, with the equipment, but there wasn't enough time. And it was actually Lens who pulled it off from being redone because they figured, oh, if he's unable to be moved now, then we need to get him back here because we can't risk losing him or whatever reasoning that they decided. But Roma is able to turn to another competent and hopefully a player who really helps them this season in Hermoso. There's also Mats Hummels, who likes to be joining the club as well. So two really experienced center backs, different profiles between the two of them. Hummels more of a traditional center back, not a Spanish style, but one that's won so many trophies throughout his career. Very accomplished senior player, will be taking the place of Chris Smalling, who looks to be heading to Saudi Arabia. But let's keep going on here. Anything else I could throw at you? Yeah, it could be a 4, could be a 5 year contract, even. Off the transfer news, I think that there's a lot of like criticism, and not just criticism, but like a negative feeling overall regarding Dovbyk. Look, Artem Dovbyk is a very good forward, but he needs better service. Once the team plays better ball in general, Dovbyk is going to do what he does best, which is get inside the box. The tactic which demands him to drop back and be included in the play, that's not what made him so good last season. He's going to have to be someone who is off the shoulder of the last defender, somebody hanging around between 18 yards to the end of the goal line where the keeper is, and then fire home. This is not his way to join the attack. So the issue is that Roma's overall play has not been orchestrated yet. There's not enough chemistry for them to get Artem into better positions. Once they do, once the team gels a little bit more and that chemistry is built, you will see the real Artem Dovbyk. And he says even on Instagram, I want to give more for the team, but there's a process that can't be avoided. Persistence and hard work are the key to everything. And who jumps in? Edin Dzeko, Roma legend, says, it's coming, my friend. So class knows class, and don't doubt Artem. He will be firing sooner than later. Let's go to the starting formation yesterday in Juve Roma. This is from SofaScore. One player I want to bring up first as we let's go through the starting formation. Selic, Mancini, Indica, Angelino in midfield. Cristante, Pellegrini, Pisilli, and then Sule, Salamakers on the left, and Artem Dovbyk up top. For Juventus, they had Mbangula, who's had a very good start to his season, as well as Yildiz up top, partnering Vlahovic and Cambiaso to his right. Locatelli gets the start in midfield with Fagioli, and then Savona, who I didn't know too much about, but is actually a pretty decent player. Federico Gatti, Bremer, and Juan Cabal out onto the left with Di Gregorio between the sticks, replacing Szczesny, who has since retired from football entirely. But that one player, let's take a look at Pisilli. You can look at his heat map, see where he was occupying. He's pretty much all over the pitch. He does get replaced, so he gets 72 minutes under his belt. We'll go back to who replaces him, actually. 27 out of 29 accurate passes, 37 touches, which is okay. It's a little low, but consider the tactic that Roma had, which was they were kind of trying to counter, and at times, but also looking to build up. And Pisilli will work his way into getting more touches. Usually for a center midfielder, 40 to 45 to 50 would be average. So he's right around that ballpark. He does get replaced by Kone. If you go onto my Twitter, I'll post a link. I thought there was a really good play that he had, little play, where he's able to do what he does best. He comes on and he shows a lot of maturity and he gets the ball up the field. He's a transitional player from defense to offense. And he's strong. He's able to hold players off and he's fast. And technical, but I think Manu Kone is going to get the start next match over Bryan Cristante, who everybody loves. There's a sick Roma obsession with Bryan Cristante. But anyway, let's take a look at how he did now that we're knocking him, giving him a little bit of slack. So, yeah, you can see 63 touches, so he's a bit of the more focal point there. And Pellegrini, who I didn't think had a great game, he was all over the pitch, roaming a lot there. 25 out of 28 accurate passes, 44 touches, so not nearly enough. Sule, though, definitely putting his mark on the top of the right flank there. You can see it's even red for his heat map, so showing just exactly what he was trying to do, and I thought he did pretty good. 41 touches, which is a lot for a right winger. But let's compare this to somebody like Locatelli. So you can see him sitting a little bit deeper. Juventus, I thought for the second half, really showed a bit more initiative. They wanted to win a little bit more. Roma hang in there, though. And Roma actually almost win this. You can see 68 touches from Locatelli. From Angelino. Dybala steps in. Angelino, to me, was the best player probably on the pitch throughout the 90 minutes, over the average of that. And he almost wins it. Dybala comes on, plays him that back pass. And it was, I think in like the 85th minute, it would have killed the game. But it's just a foot or two wide. So, block shots, clearances, 3, and nothing remarkable here. It's crazy that this match was so competitive, yet there's not like one big remarkable stat. It's just everyone going to play football. You could see that both of these teams have gotten a little bit younger. Average age is almost 26 for Roma and just over 24 for Juventus. So these policies of who they're bringing in have definitely changed. Juventus next gen, and Roma did very well in the Mercato. Said Dybala steps on Zalewski. We addressed Zalewski. Not even going to go there. Baldanzi, he did good. I liked when he entered with Dybala and Kone. I thought the three of them they made a really nice impact. And Baldanzi, to me, he's a starter, man. I think that even Pellegrini, I think he should be replaced by Baldanzi. I think he offers more, to be honest with you. El Shaarawy on the bench. Juventus had a bunch of missing players into this one. Thuram, Weah, and Milik, who's barely plays anyway. But Roma were missing Lefebvre, who's out for a couple more weeks. International break is coming now, so there will be that. Statistically speaking, team-wise, we've got a low expected G. XG is right around the same for both teams. 7 shots compared to Juventus' 8. But the only real opportunity was that Angelino shot, because all of the other ones were Juventus had, to see them so limited after Thiago Motta ball, they're the best team in Italy. Look at everything they're doing, and then they get kind of shafted by Roma. That was remarkable. I was very happy with that at the end of the day. So let's look a little bit at Daniele De Rossi's press conference here for our last section of today. He says it was important for us to be solid and compact after trying to do that against Cagey and losing it against Empoli. It's a period full of pressure for us at Roma, and it was important to emerge from here with a point. We know who we are. We know who we will be this season, and I think this was a good starting point. It wasn't the best game, but we could have done better with the ball at our feet. But Juve brought on incredible players in the second half, and we held out. True, like they brought in Coop Miners, Nico Gonzalez, and that's heavy firepower. He says everyone is scared of Dovbyk. He drew Bremer and Gatti towards him and created spaces. We could have been more attacking with the wingers, but that would have left the kind of spaces we paid for in the previous games. And maybe that shows why Salamakers didn't really have that much of an impact in this match. He says it's not an issue of communication or performances. Dovbyk fought hard against 2 very physical defenders, and the goals will come soon. Our first 10 minutes against Empoli were excellent, but then we conceded a goal and got scared. It turned into a terrible performance. Perhaps the strength of our opponents made us wary tonight, so we need to focus on our own concepts and ideas. We cannot allow fear to come in. At the 94th minute, we had Shomurodov pressing the goalkeeper, so we just have to learn how to hold steady when in a storm and keep faith. Pretty interesting that Shomurodov has emerged back into this setup. He says, it depends what you mean by in a little while, because this is responding to a comment from Fabio Capello at Sky Sports, and he says that Roma will be challenging for the Scudetto in a little while. And does Daniele De Rossi believes that? He says, it depends. He says, I didn't mean this season. It was more aimed towards the future. Bringing in good players this summer. We cannot bring in 15 players per summer. We need to keep building on that promise and realize there are current teams currently stronger than we are. But yes, I am convinced we will get there eventually. Nice stuff. It's good to hear from the boss. And I do think that Roma now have that base, and he's mentioned it in his last press conference. They are going to eventually get to a place where Inter is. Inter didn't do too much in the Mercato. A couple players here and there, nothing crazy, because they are a competitive team overall. Then they can just plug in the gaps over time. Last thing today, if you didn't get to see this, this was awesome. So Roma's few fans in the away section tucked high into the corner, out singing those that we saw from Juventus in their own stadium. And this was sent to me by Luca SR on Twitter. So we could play this real quick, his video. Put my volume up. And there we go. Nice. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. I'll be back in touch during the week. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Ciao.